The city of Vancouver is already known as a pricey place to live. Now add on another ballooning expense.
We gotta fill up. We have no choice. We've got a long haul to go, so.
When I filled it up, quarter tank, it was $80.
It just is what it is. I mean, it's just a few cents different each time.
BC drivers already pay a provincial carbon tax. In Vancouver today, the Prime Minister was asked about whether Canadians should expect to pay more at the pump given the federal carbon pricing plan.
When you put a price on what you don't want, which is pollution, you encourage people to make better choices.
But so far, despite the price pressure, drivers aren't shifting en masse toward public transit and electric vehicles.
We can't gamble on gas prices making a transition.
John Axon has studied consumer behavior and done scientific modeling that shows people's transportation habits are mostly immune to rising gas prices.
It tends to be these kind of temporary, bumps in price that do get some people to change. Of course, people who have the option, they might take the bus a few times, or they might make their next vehicle purchase a little more efficient. But it doesn't really make a huge difference.
He says prices would have to be up around $4 a litre for the majority of people to give up the cars and trucks they're currently driving. Just consider how much gas costs outside of North America. The country with the most expensive gas prices is Iceland, where people pay $2.72 Canadian per litre. In Norway, a gas-producing nation, it's $2.56 a litre. In the UK, $2.14. And in Japan, a country known for being expensive, it's $1.65 a litre. Where gas is cheaper is in the US.
Now the gas prices and the difference, it makes sense to just come down here.
And that's how many in the Lower Mainland are adapting to Vancouver's high gas prices, by making a run to the border to fill up in Washington state. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
So why do Vancouver drivers pay so much? Well, there's that provincial carbon tax and an extra fee to pay for transit improvements. Maintenance at a key refinery is also taking longer than expected. But experts say across the country, drivers should be ready for prices to go up. Summer means higher demand for all those road trips. And when refineries switch over to make summer-grade gas, which is actually a different blend than the gas used in winter, the temporary shutdowns choke supply. Plus, the U.S. supplies most of Canada's gasoline, and our low loonie makes it more expensive. But here's something to think about. Even as gas gets more expensive, drivers are eager to buy more and more large vehicles. And as Jacqueline Hansen shows us, the industry knows full well how to make money from that.
For this driver, his crossover SUV is big, but not big enough.
When my in-laws come over, it's too crammed.
So this whole back area here becomes lots of storage.
Nicole just traded in her Volkswagen Beetle for this compact crossover.
It wasn't holding the groceries and my kid and any extra people.
The bigger is better trend is one Ford is betting on. The automaker is cutting most of the cars from its lineup. Goodbye Ford Taurus, Fusion, and Fiesta. By 2022, the Mustang will be the only Ford car Canadians can buy. The company says that's because buying habits are shifting from small cars to SUVs. And industry-wide sales data backs that up. Over the past decade, sales of cars have fallen almost 30%, while sales of trucks, vans, and SUVs have nearly doubled.
Expect to pay over $100 to fill this vehicle up.
Wow.
It becomes a 6-point.
Patrina Gentile is an automotive journalist. She often test drives vehicles to review them. This week, it's a Ford SUV.
This is where people are spending their money, on SUVs and trucks.
Ford is actually following in the footsteps of Fiat Chrysler. Over the past 2 years, it shifted its main focus to trucks and Jeeps.
Ford sees that they're making money and they're trying to cash in.
But this is not the death of the car. GM, Honda, and Toyota are still in the game. And as prices at the pump hit record highs in some areas, smaller, more fuel-efficient vehicles may become more appealing.
So there is a bit of risk for Ford in terms of putting all their money into the SUVs and trucks.
SUVs have made big gains in fuel efficiency, but for consumers, whether or not a vehicle is good on gas may not be their highest priority.
I think it might, but I'm not quite sure yet.
For more and more Canadians, lifestyle seems to be the biggest driver. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.